So what I was saying, y'all, I started out with the 18 round, the 7 round liner. Then I switched to the 18 round liner. But the thinner lines, I'm doing the 7 round liner. For the thinner lines, the bolder lines, I'm going for the 18. And also I was saying you gotta stretch the skin. A lot of times your ink don't be all the way in because you don't really stretch the skin. Now all areas you don't have to stretch that much, but this part of the lower back, you really gotta stretch it. I'm gonna be going back to the 18 round liner to hit some of the lines that I not worrying about being too thin. And I'll come back. So right now I've been sculpting it with the 7 round liner when I could just use the 18 round liner. So I ain't gotta do that with all the lines. But like where the bottom parts of the swirls at, I definitely wanna make them a lot thinner. So yeah. And for those that didn't hear, I'm always lining at 7 volts. So you want the voltage, always 7 volts. The reason why I'm using this 18 round liner too, because how big the tattoo is. I want some real bold lines. You don't want no super thin line with nothing this big. But some people go for that style, so to each their own. Depends on the client. So since I'm getting all the bold ones out the way, I'm gonna come back with the thinner ones. Make some extra arm curves that I need to, some extra swirls. I'm gonna go ahead and get all the bold ones out the way though. Like this is gonna be part of a thin one. That's why I just left that map out. So what I'm doing, so I can come back with the 7 round liner. In the thin spots, I'm kind of badly touching it, just to kind of map it out. And I'm gonna come back fully over with the 7 round liner. And another thing I want to say, to each their own, but I prefer everybody to start from the bottom and move to the top. To start from the top, moving to the bottom, you just only wiping away what you got there. But to each their own, everybody got their different ways of doing things. So, but my way, I always say top to bottom, no matter what you're doing. Because if you're kind of coming down, you're going to wipe away stuff that's not tatted on, the stencil. If you want to save that stencil, go from the bottom up. Just like anything else, like if it's just a small tattoo and you right-handed, start from your right hand and go to the left side. So if you start from your left side, you're going to wipe away, pulling across to the right. Vice versa with left hand, start from your left and then move to the right. Alright, we about to move on to the 7 round liner, add any extra swirls we need to. We got most of all our bold ones out the way. Add any thin swirls we need to. So you see the difference between the bolder ones and those thinner ones? And that's for people also that don't know what liners to use where. So it all depends if you want that line bold or if you want that line a lot thinner. That's how you know what size needle you're gonna be using. You ain't gonna be using those small 7 round if you're trying to get some real bold lines. Now mind you, you can do it, but for beginners wise, it's not a good idea because you definitely will scar the skin. So you definitely have to constantly layer and sculpt your lines with a thinner, smaller round liner. But yeah, right now since it's all line work, we're gonna be using one machine, which is my liner. But we just using different size liners. But other than that, if it had a lot of shading or something, I'll have a specific one for my liner, the one I'm using now, and then I have one specifically for the shading. So yep. I'll move on to these dots. And then we're gonna go ahead and finish outlining that tail. And we definitely gonna be doing most of the fish outline with the 18 round liner until we get towards the inside, maybe about like the eyes and stuff. We can use that 7 round liner. All right, since I noticed in this area, if I having more skin there, I gotta go up on the machine. I'm gonna go up to like 7.5. Well, that because probably my machine went down to 6.82, but that shouldn't have made a difference. But 7.5, we about to give it a try. See, sometimes bigger liners require you to go a little bit higher than your normal speed because there's a lot more needles and all the time it don't just puncture. And most big needles is not as sharp as a small needle, of course. Sharp needle, well, small needles is way sharper because there's less needles. But it also depends on the area. So like on the arm, you never really have to go higher. That big needle just still knock it in because it's flat, not too much skin, not too much stretching. Now you seeing the more Oh damn, I'm all loud. Well yeah, y'all saying the more we go up, it get a lot easier because the skin get a lot tighter basically. You ain't gotta do as much stretching as we did at the bottom. For us in the middle of the in the middle of the back. All right, y'all. I know it's been we made a long way, a long way. Still using the 18 round liners. What's up? Everything good? Everything good? Still using the 18 round liners and the small liner, the 7 round liner for like our tighter areas. Yep, still coming along. Client sitting good. We all good. Still rolling. Make sure everything's solid. That's one thing I recommend too. Always look back over. Never know, something could always be off, so I always take a look back over it. Like multiple times too. I don't just look over it once. I'm always finding something. Um, so far as going about placement, like when we first put the design on, this circle part was way up here, and I feel it wasn't balanced out. So I had to drop it down to make it more balanced out. So you kind of look for balance and also flow. Like the flow of the piece, that's kind of important, and also the placement. Make sure everything proportioned out and not like too much weight at the top or too much weight at the bottom. So that's how I say it. And as far as like other locations, it's all about how it fit the body. So always put the tattoo on like in a natural standing up position, so you can see how it'll look on a regular when they're just standing or walking. But that's how I think about placement though. How does it flow? If it look like it'll be cramped up in the inside, yeah, I just probably have to off center it a little bit. But then if I off center it, I have to find something else that will kind of balance that whole piece. So I guess a lot goes into it, but it's mainly about how it flow with the body though. No matter if it's like out of placement, as long as you add something in to balance the piece out, you should be good. All right, y'all. Now that we got the top, and we know we got some bold spots at the bottom, like right here, we're gonna definitely have some of the bold spots at the top to balance it out. Going back to the 18 round line to make this top part a little bit bolder. Coming across. How that feel? Feel like it took like the edge off a little bit. I'm forgetting I got that spray. Some people say it don't work though. Well, I know each their own. Everybody's different.